Today we are going to discuss a very important mathematical tool, differentiation. Suppose y is a function of x. It means that for every change I produce in x, there will be a corresponding change in y. Suppose initially x was x1 and it changes to x2. There will be a corresponding change in y. So, suppose when x was x1, y was y1, and when x changed to x2, y changed to y2. So, can we say that the change in x was x2 minus x1, final value minus initial value, that is the change. I can denote it using delta x. Delta represents any change in quantity. So when x was x1, y must be y1, and when x was x2, y would be y2. So what was the corresponding change in y? Change in y can be written down as y2 minus y1. Final value minus initial value. So we can denote it using delta y, that is change in x and change in y. Now if somebody asks me to calculate the rate of change of y with respect to x, that is the rate of change of y with respect to x, this is equal to the change in y divided by change in x, that is delta y divided by delta x. Change in y divided by change in x, that is delta y divided by delta x. For example, suppose y is equal to x square plus 1. I put x is equal to 0. It becomes, for x equal to 0, y will be equal to 0 plus 1, that is 1. For x equal to 1, y will be equal to 2. Okay, so what is delta x? Delta x is 1 minus 0, which is 1, and delta y is y2 minus y1, that is 1 again. So what is the rate of change of y with respect to x in this problem? It is delta y divided by delta x equal to 1. Let us take another example. Y is equal to 2 raised to the power x. Okay. So for x equal to 1, y will be equal to 2. For x equal to say 3, y will be equal to 8. So what is delta x? Delta x is 3 minus 1, that is 2, and delta y is the change in y, which is 8 minus 2 equal to 6. So what is the rate of change of y with respect to x? It is delta y divided by delta x, that is 6 divided by 2 equal to 3. We can clearly see that in these examples the change in x is a finite number, that is this number can be measured. Delta x is 2. This is a finite number. What if we produce a very small change in x? A very small change in x, such a change that we cannot measure it. Okay, it is so small that it is almost equal to 0 but not 0. We write this like delta x tends to 0. This tends to 0 means that delta x is very close to 0. It is almost 0 but not 0. Okay, so we produce a very small change, as small as you can think of, in x, that is delta x tends to 0. So corresponding change in y will also be very small. If you produce a very small change in x, the corresponding change in y will also be very small. Okay, so when we produce a very small change in x, we do not write it delta x, we call it dx. And the corresponding change in y will not be delta y, we will call it dy, and the rate of change of y with respect to x in such a situation will not be delta y by delta x. It will be dy by dx. Okay. What is dy by dx? Dy by dx is known as the derivative of y with respect to x. Derivative of y with respect to x, and the procedure of finding the derivative of y is known as differentiation. Dy by dx can be written as d by dx of y. So d by dx is actually an operator which we are applying on y. An operator such as addition, subtraction, multiplication or division. This is also such an operator which we are applying on this y, which is a function of x. Now let us learn another way to understand what is the meaning of derivative or differentiation. Here you can see a curve marked by black, and it is a line segment which is intersecting this curve at two different points P and Q. Such a line which intersects a curve at two different points is known as a secant. This line segment intersects it at P and Q. Can we find out the slope of this line PQ? Suppose this angle between this line and x-axis is theta, then the slope of this line will be tan theta. Okay. Suppose the coordinates of P is x1, y1, and that of Q are x2, y2. What is this difference between the x coordinates of P and Q? That is x2 minus x1. So can we write x2 minus x1 as delta x? It is delta x. Similarly, the difference between the y coordinates of Q and P can be written as delta y. So this is delta y. Okay. Now, what is the slope of this line using delta x and delta y? We can clearly see that slope is tan theta, and tan theta is perpendicular divided by base. So in this triangle, tan theta, this is also theta. These are parallel lines and these are corresponding angles. So this is also theta. So tan theta will be equal to delta y delta x. Okay. Now suppose I pull this Q closer to P along this curve. Okay. So I bring this Q closer to P. That is, after some time this Q does not remain here, it comes here. And this position can be set to be at Q1. So Q becomes Q1. So this line will also change. This line will become something like this. Okay. Now the value of delta y will change. It will not remain this, it will become smaller. It will be this. Let us call this delta y1. And similarly, the value of delta x will also change. It will be delta x1. Let us say this is delta x1. Okay. So now we have this line, this dotted line, and this angle also becomes smaller. It is not theta now. Let us call this theta 1. This angle, the slope of this line, the dotted line, will be tan theta 1, which will be delta y1 divided by delta x1. Okay. So this point Q comes from here to here. Q becomes Q1, delta y becomes delta y1, delta x becomes delta x1, and the slope of line becomes tan theta 1, that is delta y1 divided by delta x1. Now what happens if I bring this Q further closer to P? Okay, delta y will become further smaller, delta x will become further smaller. This एंगल विल ऑल्सो चेंज एंड द स्लोप ऑफ द लाइन विल ऑल्सो वेरी। तो हमने क्या देखा कि हम Q को P के पास ला रहे थे इस कर्व के अलोंग, वी वर ब्रिंगिंग Q क्लोजर टू P अलोंग दिस कर्व। तो हमने देखा कि जो डेल्टा y है यानी कि P और Q के y कोऑर्डिनेट्स के बीच का डिफरेंस वो कम हो रहा था, साथ ही डेल्टा x भी कम हो रहा था, यानी कि दोनों के x कोऑर्डिनेट्स के बीच का डिफरेंस वो भी कम हो रहा था। तो अगर मैं Q को P के इतने पास ले आऊं कि ये दोनों एक ही पॉइंट पर आ जाए, दैट इज P एंड Q कम ऑन द सेम पॉइंट, तो क्या होगा? तो ये सीकेंट जो है ये छोटा होता चला जाएगा इस डायरेक्शन में। जब मैं Q को लेकर आऊंगा तो जो PQ कुछ देर बाद ऐसा हो जाएगा, फिर कुछ देर बाद ऐसा हो जाएगा। तो ये सीकेंट की लेंथ कम होती चली जाएगी और एक टाइम के बाद जब Q बिल्कुल ही P पर आ जाएगा तो ये सीकेंट नहीं रहेगा, तब ये एक टेंजेंट बन जाएगा। यानी कि फिर ये जो लाइन है जो P और Q को जोड़ रही है, जब Q बिल्कुल ही P पर आ जाएगा तो ये लाइन फिर दो पॉइंट्स पर इंटरसेक्ट नहीं करेगी कर्व को, एक ही पॉइंट पर करेगी और इस लाइन को हम कहते हैं टेंजेंट। ठीक है, तो दिस लाइन विल बिकम अ टेंजेंट। So what happens when Q approaches P? Delta y becomes very small. जब दोनों एक ही पॉइंट पर आ जाएंगे तो उन दोनों की y कोऑर्डिनेट्स का डिफरेंस बहुत कम हो जाएगा, x कोऑर्डिनेट्स का डिफरेंस भी बहुत कम हो जाएगा। तो डेल्टा y will become almost equal to 0, डेल्टा x will also become almost equal to 0। इसका मतलब डेल्टा y will tend to 0। हमें पता है कि जब डेल्टा y tend to 0 होता है तो उसको हम क्या लिखते हैं? उसको लिखते हैं dy। डेल्टा x will also tend to 0, यानी कि it will become dx। और स्लोप क्या हो जाएगा तब? इस टेंजेंट का स्लोप क्या हो जाएगा? मान लीजिए यहां इंटरसेक्ट कर रही है और इसका स्लोप निकालने की कोशिश किया, मान लीजिए ये एंगल अल्फा है, तो tan अल्फा क्या हो जाएगा? tan अल्फा जैसे यहां पर डेल्टा y बाय डेल्टा x था, अब डेल्टा y तो रहा नहीं, इट बिकम्स dy और डेल्टा x will become dx। So tan alpha will be dy by dx. This is another way of explaining what differentiation actually is. So what is differentiation or what is the derivative of y with respect to x? It is actually the slope of the tangent to the curve at a particular point. यानी P और Q जब एक जैसे हो गए, यहाँ पर जो हमने लाइन ड्रॉ करी, it becomes a tangent। इस टेंजेंट का हमने स्लोप निकाला, तो स्लोप जो आएगा वो dy by dx आएगा, which is the derivative of y with respect to x। तो अभी तक हमने देखा कि dy by dx का मीनिंग क्या होता है। dy by dx का मतलब होता है the rate of change of y with respect to x when we have produced an infinitesimally small change in x, that is a very small change in x। On the graph we saw that dy by dx is actually the slope of the tangent to that curve, यानी कि y is equal to fx। अगर आप इसको प्लॉट करते हैं ग्राफ पर और dy by dx अगर आपसे पूछे तो आप उस कर्व की टेंजेंट का स्लोप निकालेंगे, which will be equal to dy by dx। d by dx यानी डिफरेंशिएशन of c, where c is any constant, is 0। See, constant is a number which does not change, यानी कि आप x में कितना भी चेंज लाएं, c यानी कि कांस्टेंट के अंदर कोई चेंज प्रोड्यूस नहीं होगा। कांस्टेंट इज अ नंबर व्हिच डज नॉट चेंज, सो सिंस कोई चेंज नहीं होगा तो दिस बिकम्स 0। सो डिफरेंशिएशन ऑफ अ कांस्टेंट इज 0। d by dx of x raised to the power n is equal to n times x raised to the power n minus 1। इस तरह का कोई फंक्शन आपके पास है x raised to the power n, उसको डिफरेंशिएट करने के लिए बोला जाए तो आप इस फॉर्मूले का यूज करेंगे। फॉर एग्जांपल हमको डिफरेंशिएट करना है x स्क्वायर को, so we can see that in place of n here is 2, so what will be d by dx of x square? It will be n comes out here, it is 2 x raised to the power n minus 1, which is 2 minus 1, 2 x raised to the power 1, which is x। So d by dx of x square is 2x। d by dx of sin x is equal to cos x. These are some of the formulae that you have to remember, and they will be very useful in solving numerical problems in physics. D by dx of cos x is minus sin x. D by dx of e raised to the power x is equal to e raised to the power x, where e is the Euler's number. So Euler's number raised to any power, we differentiate the function, it will give the same number, that is e raised to the power x when differentiated with respect to x gives e raised to the power x. What is d by dx of ln x? What is ln x? Ln x is the natural logarithm of x, that is the logarithm of x with the base e. It gives 1 by x. D by dx of a raised to the power x. We have learned the formula of e raised to the power x. What if there is a raised to the power x? It is a raised to the power x ln x. A raised to the power x ln x is the differentiation of a raised to the power x. Now let us learn a few more properties of differentiation. Suppose we have to differentiate c multiplied by fx with respect to x, that is c is some constant and fx is a function of x. What we can do, we can take out c and differentiate the function like this. C can be taken out and the function differentiated. Unlike when we are differentiating a constant itself, it does not become 0. If fx were not here, simply the differentiation would have become 0. But c is in product with fx, c comes out and we differentiate the function fx. For example, if we have to differentiate 2x square, what we do? We take out 2 and differentiate x square with respect to x. We know that the differentiation of x square is 2x. It becomes 2 multiplied by 2x, that is 4x. What is d by dx of u plus v? Okay, u and v both are functions of x. So when we are given a differential in such a form where we have to differentiate u plus v, that is sum of two functions, we can write it down as the differentiation of individual functions and add them. Okay, we can differentiate individually and add them, that is d by dx of u plus v, where u and v both are functions of x, it is equal to d by dx of u plus d by dx of v. For example, we have to differentiate 2x square minus 3x. We can write this like d by dx of 2x square minus d by dx of 3x using this property. D by dx of 2x square is 2 multiplied by d by dx of x square minus d by dx. 3 comes out, it becomes minus 3 d by dx of x. D by dx of x square is 2x, we calculated previously. 2 multiplied by 2x minus 3 d by dx of x is 1, so multiplied by 1, it is 4x minus 3. So d by dx of 2x square minus 3x is 4x minus 3. Let us try to solve a few problems based on this rule. We have to find out d by dx of 6x square minus 4x plus x raised to the power minus 1. Okay? Using the previous property, it will be equal to d by dx of 6x square minus d by dx of 4x plus d by dx of x raised to the power minus 1. Okay, this 6 can be written down outside. It becomes 6 times d by dx of x square minus 4 times 4 comes out d by dx of x plus d by dx of x raised to the power minus 1. This minus 1 comes out and x raised to the power minus 1. Okay, this is using the property d by dx of x raised to the power n equal to n times x raised to the power n minus 1. This is equal to 6 times x raised to the power 2, that is x square. Its differentiation is 2x minus d by dx of x is 1, it becomes 1, so minus 4. This plus minus becomes minus x to the power minus 1, it is minus 2. So it becomes 12x minus 4 minus x raised to the power minus 2. This is the differentiation of x 6x square minus 4x plus x raised to the power minus 1. Now let us differentiate d by dx root x plus 8 times cube root of x plus 2 times fourth root of x. Okay, let us write down in a simple notation. It is equal to d by dx of root x is equal to x raised to the power 1 by 2 plus 8 times cube root of x is equal to x raised to the power 1 by 3 plus 2 times fourth root is equal to x raised to the power 1 by 4. Okay, now differentiate it using the simpler property. That is d by dx of x raised to the power 1 by 2 plus 8 times, okay, we are doing it directly. We have put out 8 outside. D by dx of x raised to the power 1 by 3 plus 2 times d by dx of x raised to the power 1 by 4. It is 1 by 2 x raised to the power 1 by 2 minus 1 plus 8 times, and this 1 by 3 comes out, it becomes 1 by 3 x raised to the power 1 by 3 minus 1 plus 2, and this 1 by 4 comes out, 1 by 4 x raised to the power 1 by 4 minus 1. Solving it, we can get 1 by 2 x raised to the power minus 1 by 2 plus 8 by 3 x raised to the power minus 2 by 3 plus 1 by 2 x raised to the power minus 3 by 4. This is the desired answer. You can try to solve these problems by yourself. Try differentiating 6 divided by square root of z cube plus 1 upon 8 times z की power 4 minus 1 upon 3 z to the power 10. Try differentiating this with respect to z, that is d by dz of this. Try finding it out by yourself. Now let us learn the product rule of differentiation. What is d by dx of u multiplied by v? U and v are being multiplied and we are asked to differentiate this. U and v are independent functions of x. So the product rule says that this is equal to u times dv by dx plus v times du by dx. That is, in the first term u comes out, differentiate v, plus v comes out, differentiate u. This is the product rule. Let us learn this through an example. Find d by dx x square multiplied by sin x. Okay. First term out, differentiate the second term, plus second term out, differentiate the first term. D by dx of sin x is cos x. D by dx of x square is 2x. it becomes x square cos x plus 2x sin x. This is how we apply the product rule. Let us solve a few more problems of quotient rule. D by dy of y minus 4 multiplied by 2y plus y square. Okay. Here we can see there is a product of two functions. So using the product rule, we can write down first function, differentiation of the second, that is d by dy of 2y plus y square plus second, that is 2y plus y square, and differentiation of the first y minus 4. Okay, it is y minus 4. Differentiation we can apply directly to this plus this. D by dy of 2y will be 2 plus d by dy of y square will be 2y plus 2y plus y square. Differentiation of y minus 4. Y, it will be 1, and since 4 is a constant, it will be 0. Y minus 4 times 2 plus 2y plus 2y plus y square. Okay, multiply inside 2y plus 2y square minus 8y plus 2y plus y square. Okay, 2y square, y square becomes 3y square, 2y and 2y becomes 4y, and minus 8y, it becomes minus 4y minus 8. This is the differentiation of this function, 3y square minus 4y minus 8. Now can you calculate the differentiation of x square minus 1 sin x by yourself? Okay, try finding this by yourself. Now let us move to the quotient rule. U and v are independent functions of x, and we have to find out d by dx of u by v. So the quotient rule says that it is equal to the first term, that is the numerator, multiplied by the differentiation of the denominator minus the denominator and differentiation of numerator divided by square of denominator. This is the quotient rule. Okay, d by dx of u by v, where u is the numerator, v is denominator, is numerator differentiation of denominator minus denominator differentiation of numerator divided by denominator square. This is the quotient rule. Now let us solve a problem using the quotient rule. D by dx of 4x cubed minus 7x plus 8 divided by x. Okay. So the quotient rule says that denominator differentiation of numerator 4x cubed minus 7x plus 8 minus numerator differentiation of denominator divided by denominator square. It becomes x time, apply differentiation directly, it becomes 4 multiplied by 3x square, that is 12x square, minus differentiation of 7x, it is minus 7, plus differentiation of 8 will be 0, minus 4x cube minus 7x plus 8, and differentiation of x will be 1 divided by x square equal to 12x cube minus 7x minus 4x cube plus 7x minus 8, okay, divided by x square. These plus 7x and minus 7x cancel out. It becomes 8x cube minus 8 divided by x square. Okay, when we divide 8x cube by x square, we get 8x, and 8 divided by x square will be 8x raised to the power minus 2. This is the desired answer. D by dy of y raised to the power 5 minus 5y square plus 3 divided by y raised to the power 3. Okay? Try solving this problem by yourself. This can be solved using the quotient rule. Now let us learn a very important rule of differentiation known as the chain rule. Chain rule says that dz by dx is equal to dz by dy multiplied by dy by dx. This is the chain rule. Now what is the meaning of this rule and where is it applied? Suppose z is a function of y, that is z is f y. Z varies with y, and y is a function of x. Y is fx, y varies with x. Now can we find out dz by dx? See, we can see that z is not a direct function of x, so we cannot find dz by dx. Z is not a direct function of x. So what we do, we multiply both sides by dy. Okay, multiply the denominator as well as the numerator by the same thing, so no change. We are multiplying and dividing by the same thing. Can we write this dy here and this dx here? It makes no difference if we write it like this: dz by dy multiplied by dy by dx. Okay, so now we can see that z is a function of y, so we can differentiate z with respect to y, and since y is a function of x, we can differentiate y with respect to x. So the chain rule dz by dx is equal to dz by dy multiplied by dy by dx. This is the chain rule. Now how to use this chain rule? Suppose you have a function sine square x. Okay, we have to differentiate sine square x with respect to x. Now we do not know any formula for the differentiation of sine square x. We know the formula of differentiating x square and we know the formula of differentiating sine x. But sine square x we have no formula. Okay. So can we write this like this? D of sine square x by dx multiplied by d sine x by d sine x. We multiply the numerator and denominator by d sine x. Now exchanging these two terms, d sine square x by d sine x multiplied by d sine x by dx. Okay, so we know that d sine x by dx is cos x, and see, suppose sine x is equal to t, so this will become t square. Sine square x is actually sine x whole square. Okay, so if sine x is t, sine square x will become t square, and we can differentiate t square with respect to t. It is 2t, so this becomes 2 sine x 2t. T is sin x. So it becomes 2 sin x multiplied by d of sin x is cos x. So it becomes 2 sin x cos x, which is equal to sin 2x. The differentiation of sin square x is sin 2x. This we can solve using the chain rule. Now let me tell you a much simpler way to use the chain rule. We will not have this much time to write down these equations in the examination. It will take a lot of time. We can use this in a much simpler way. Suppose we have to differentiate, say, x plus 1 whole square. Okay? We have no formula directly to calculate x plus 1 whole square. We can of course do it using the product rule, write it down like x plus 1, but it will take a lot of time. So we can use the chain rule to calculate it in a much easier way. Okay. Now suppose if instead of x here were x plus 1, then the calculation would have been very easy. अगर यहाँ पर x की जगह x plus 1 होता तो डिफरेंशिएट करना बहुत आसान हो जाता, क्योंकि हमें पता है कि ऊपर किसी नंबर किसी वेरिएबल का स्क्वायर हो, नीचे वो हो, तो उसका डिफरेंशिएशन होता है 2x, यानी x स्क्वायर का होता है 2x। यानी अगर हम यहाँ पर x plus 1 होता, x plus 1 को हम t मान लेते, ऊपर होता t स्क्वायर, नीचे होता t, आंसर आता 2t। लेकिन यहाँ पर x plus 1 नहीं है, x है। हम क्या करते हैं, अपने मन में सपोज कर लेते हैं कि यहाँ पर x plus 1 है, ठीक है। आपने सपोज कर लिया यहाँ पर x plus 1 है, और अब इसको डिफरेंशिएट कर दीजिए, तो क्या आएगा, यहाँ पर x plus 1 होता तो डिफरेंशिएट करने पर आता 2 times x plus 1, ठीक है। मतलब x plus 1 को अगर हम t मान लें तो x plus 1 होल स्क्वायर हो जाएगा t, और d t स्क्वायर डिवाइडेड बाई dt 2t होगा, और 2t होगा तो 2x plus 1 होगा। लेकिन अभी हमको ये भूलना नहीं है कि हमने यहाँ पर x है और x की जगह हमने x plus 1 सपोज कर लिया था। अब इस सपोज करने के बदले में हमको कुछ और यहाँ पर ऐड करना पड़ेगा। वो ऐड क्या करना पड़ेगा, d by dx of x plus 1। हमने x plus 1 को x मान लिया था, जिस भी नंबर को, जिस भी फंक्शन को हमने x माना था उसको दोबारा डिफरेंशिएट करना पड़ेगा, तब सही आंसर आएगा। यानी 2 times x plus 1, d by dx of x plus 1 is 1, so the answer is 2x plus 2. This is the differentiation of x plus 1 whole square. Let us take another example, d by dx of cos square x. To calculate the differentiation of cos square x, we do not have any direct formula. हमारे पास cos x का डिफरेंशिएट करने के लिए फॉर्मूला है और x स्क्वायर को डिफरेंशिएट करने के लिए फॉर्मूला है। cos स्क्वायर x के लिए कोई डायरेक्ट फॉर्मूला नहीं है। अगर यहाँ पर x की जगह cos x होता तो हम लिख लेते cos x इक्वल टू t, और cos स्क्वायर x हो जाता t स्क्वायर, और तब इसको डिफरेंशिएट करना बहुत आसान हो जाता, क्योंकि हमको डिफरेंशिएट करना होता d by dt of t स्क्वायर, जो हो जाता 2t। अब मान लीजिए यहाँ पर cos x ही लिखा हुआ है, तो डिफरेंशिएशन हो जाएगा 2t, यानी कि 2 cos x। लेकिन ये तब आया जब हमने x की जगह इमेजिन कर लिया cos x। इस इमेजिनेशन को कंपेंसेट करने के लिए हमने x को जो भी इमेजिन किया था, यानी कि cos x, उसको दोबारा से हमको डिफरेंशिएट करना पड़ेगा। d by dx of cos x यहाँ पर ऐड करना होगा। d by dx of cos x होता है माइनस साइन x, तो ये हो जाएगा 2 cos x इंटू माइनस साइन x, ये हो जाएगा माइनस 2 साइन x cos x, जो कि होता है माइनस ऑफ साइन 2x। तो this is how we use the chain rule. In the next video, we will be taking more problems on differentiating and we will be solving it using the various properties.